Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Buckets. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already and drop a like on this video. It only takes 1 second and it makes a massive difference in how the video performs. Also, I'm doing a podcast tomorrow live at 4:30 with my co-hosts Alex, Hoops, and Rudy. So if you haven't checked that podcast out already, go subscribe. It's going to be live at 4:30 and join the chat. We'll maybe interact with you, stuff like that. Anyways, let's talk about Nuggets versus Lakers game 1. I didn't make a series prediction for this series because anytime I do a preview video, they don't do well. So let me just say, for both of these conference finals, I have the Nuggets winning in 6, and I have the Celtics maybe winning in 7. I'm really not confident in that series whatsoever because, it feels like at every turn I've bet against Jimmy Butler. I didn't against the Knicks. I knew the Heat would beat the Knicks. But almost at every time I've bet against Jimmy Butler, he proves me wrong. So, I did do it in the conference finals versus the Celtics last year, and they ended up not proving me wrong, but came damn close. Anyways, that aside, I want to talk about this game, and the title of this video is going to be something along the lines of like the perfect starting lineup or something like that, because for the first 3 quarters of this game, Denver was firing on all cylinders and then some. Just everything was working. The system was working flawlessly, and the Lakers defense that has been bothersome to pretty much every team they've encountered, especially the Warriors, they didn't really have to worry about that too much. It did slow down a lot in the fourth quarter as the Lakers started to make their comeback, but they obviously closed out the game and won. For those first 3 quarters, everything was working. Michael Porter Jr. was getting a ton of threes. Jamal Murray was getting handoffs, and Jokić just using his body as a shield, essentially. Jokić was also getting a ton of rebounds. I think he had 19 going into the fourth quarter. I'm not sure what he finished with, but he had an easy go of it. I've also noticed there's this play that the Nuggets keep running that's interesting because it's not very conventional, and it's a bunch of screens that result in Nikola Jokić getting this mid-range shot at around the free throw line, and they ran that 2 times, and it's just odd, not really a mid-range catch and shoot for a center isn't really a play that teams are really going for these days, but it was interesting, especially coming off of a screen. I felt the need to mention it because it just stuck with me a whole lot. But, a couple of nice plays for Aaron Gordon. I think the game started with literally the first 5 buckets were from all 5 starters. KCP was phenomenal in this game, hit a bunch of 3-pointers, and I think it's a little underrated his ability to, attack off of the catch. He's not going to do anything special. He's not going to have a lot of finishes that will typically wow you. But, if he has to take it off of the dribble and try and finish, he usually does a decent enough job. And there was one pretty late in this game when it was really necessary, when the Lakers had made their comeback, that KCP pump faked on the 3-point line. His defender flew by him, and he just got a really tough floater over Anthony Davis. So yeah, the starting lineup for Denver, I've talked about this before, but man, I just can't think of a single starting lineup in NBA history that fits together better than this one. And I'm not saying it's the best starting lineup ever, because it's certainly not. But in terms of fit, it comes down to are any of these players getting in the way of each other? Are their skill sets inhibiting the other player's skill set in any capacity? And I can't think of, for any of their starters, of a way that they haven't been maximized by their starting lineup, how things could be any more ideal. Michael Porter Jr. gets a bunch of open looks off of Nikola Jokić and Jamal Murray. Aaron Gordon is a perfect backdoor cutting option for Nikola Jokic's passing, and he's gotten to be a quality enough 3-point shooter as well that the defense doesn't super respect, but it's not a bad shot by any means, and he can create off the dribble a little bit. Jamal Murray is the primary shot creator, of course, in terms of perimeter shot creation, and everybody being able to shoot means that Nikola Jokić has all the space in the world to operate in the post, presuming they're not going to bring a double team, and because they can all shoot, they're not going to bring a double team because they don't want to have Jokić whip the ball across the court and find the open man. KCP has had a career year in Denver. I can't imagine a better season that he's had. I don't think it's happened. He fits in flawlessly. Everything just works for Denver, and because of that, I think they're going to win the championship this year. They are definitely my favorite of these last 4 teams. I gotta say, as someone who's believed in the Denver Nuggets for a very long time, I've been talking about the potential that this team has when it gets healthy ever since Jamal Murray tore his ACL after they traded for Aaron Gordon. Like, when I saw, it was like 12 games that they played together. When I saw those games played with that starting lineup, it wasn't KCP at the time. I think it was Will Barton. I was like, yeah, this is wraps. This is a championship team right here. And then Jamal Murray tore his ACL, and it took like 2 years for everybody to get healthy again. But now that everybody is, man, this lineup is perfect. And as good as the Lakers ended up being in this game, they definitely didn't start the game very strong. I definitely feel pretty strongly about Denver's chances to pull away with the win here. With that said, let's talk about the Lakers side of things. I gotta say, Jared Vanderbilt, disappointing for sure. A big reason why I was a huge believer in the Los Angeles Lakers was the defense of Vando and Anthony Davis, and as it turns out, they can still be a pretty damn good defense without Vando, and offensively, he was a huge limiting factor. Teams would just leave him wide open, and he was not making the shot, and playing 4-on-5, it's just not ideal for an offense. So he would not play that much, and he played like 11 minutes in this game. Dennis Schroeder ended up getting the start because he's been a really good defender and a lot more capable of a three-point shooter and playmaker than one of my favorite players in the league, Jared Vanderbilt, is. So that's been a little bit disappointing. Who wasn't disappointing in this game was AD. He had 40 points. He started the game off terrible. Like, I feel like every shot he put up in the paint was a really contested and difficult shot. AD got a lot of work from mid-range in this one. It really wasn't a lot of interior stuff for him for a 40-piece. It was mostly like free throws and mid-range jump shots. I know he hit a huge corner 3 late because that was basically how the Lakers got back into this one, is they slowly chipped away to get it down to like a 14-point lead, and then Dennis Schroeder hit a 3, Austin Reeves hit a 3, Anthony Davis hit a 3, I think maybe it was Rui hit a 3, someone else did, but it was a big sequence of 3-pointers going in, and AD hit one of them, but he was great in this one. He started off the game with a bunch of bricked floaters, but after that he got his game going. LeBron James, probably the second best playoff game he's played, and game 6 versus the Warriors was probably the best before that. So maybe this is a sign, back-to-back games, that LeBron is going to be a lot more impactful, because frankly, if LeBron was like regular season LeBron, I would feel a lot better about the Lakers, but he's been playing through a foot injury, and I just don't know what he's going to bring on any given night. His 3 ball is not good still. He cannot shoot this postseason whatsoever, and he's been struggling with his 3 in the regular season, so it's not that big of a surprise. I think he got it up to like 32%, but for a large chunk of the year he was below 30. And yeah, it's he took a big 3 late, and I was like, listen, LeBron, I know you've had people like Skip Bayless talking to you throughout your entire career saying you need to take the big clutch shot, but I was like, man, with all the big shots that people have been threes that people had hit in this game, did you really think it had to be you there? It really was like not ideal for sure. I was like, Austin Reeves has been scorching from outside. I think when I said another player hit a 3, I think Austin just hit 2 of them, now that I'm remembering correctly. But other than that, LeBron had a really good game. I'm not going to knock him for it. It would just be nice if his jump shot was a little bit more effective, given that his jump shot being more effective as the years have gone on throughout his career has been a huge part of him still being able to be a very elite player, as the him just driving downhill 24/7 thing is pretty depleted to, he'll do it sometimes. But other than that, very good game from him. Got a near triple-double. Austin Reeves, as I mentioned, really big game, hit a bunch of big shots. Rui always finds a way to score the ball, and he's one of my favorite players on this team for sure. Rui is someone who I believed in for a while in Washington, and I was afraid that he would not really find his place in the league, but it really looks like as a scoring 6-man, that might be just the perfect job for him. But yeah, the Lakers definitely definitely made this one a lot more of a fight than it looked like it was going to be. I was anticipating titling this video something along the lines of like, the Lakers got embarrassed. After Nikola Jokić hit that ridiculous 3 over Anthony Davis at the end of the third quarter, I was like, all right, I don't think this is gonna be nothing. And then I went to bed, and before I went to sleep, I got a notification. I think it's from Apple TV. Weirdly enough, they give me notifications for games. I don't even think they have the games, but whatever. Got a notification that it was a 3-point game with 3 minutes left. So I was like, oh shit, whoops, shouldn't have turned the game off. But I went back and rewatched the whole fourth quarter, don't worry. But yeah, the Lakers definitely put up a fight here. I also will say, if I'm gonna be a little bit favorable to the Lakers, I don't know what percentage they shot, but it seemed like Denver was hitting a lot of their damn shots to a degree that's not like consistently replicable. So yeah, especially like the end of the third, early fourth, Nikola Jokić hit that crazy 3 over AD, and then Jamal Murray hit like this ridiculous long mid-range shot over LeBron. So yeah, they had a very favorable shooting night, but also Denver's offense, man, it just works so well because this is the best starting lineup in the NBA, and as previously mentioned, one of the best fit lineups that I have ever seen. But yeah, that is it. Shout out to Rudy for editing this video, and goodbye.